Hey guys, it's Neha. Today I'm in my kitchen with Nithya from Gopala Dessert, and today she's going to be teaching me how to make
a sweet potato milk ruffled pie.
Yeah, I'm super excited, a little scared. I might mess up a little bit, but I've known Nithya for about 7 years now. When she moved here first to go to college at WashU when I was going to SLU, and ever since then I've watched her really grow into a really amazing person. And as you know, if you followed me before, this channel really focuses on 3 different pillars: personal growth, side hustles, and personal finance. And even though I really believe she's excelled in all those different fields, her side hustles is what really attracts me. She's really been able to hone into that, especially with her personal baking business and her tutoring business as well. So please welcome her to this channel.
Hi.
And yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so what are we going to be doing today?
Yeah, so as I said, we're making a sweet potato milk ruffled pie. So that is basically layers of flaky phyllo pastry with a...
I thought it was called phyllo. But
I did too, and I looked it up, and it's called phyllo, and then now I'm trying really hard not to say phyllo. Anyway.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So there's flaky phyllo pastry, and there's also a sweet potato custard that's poured over the top. So you have the spiciness and the nuttiness coming from the sweet potato, and also this like gorgeous color, like, I don't know.
That's sweet potato, by the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Shook.
And Trader Joe's has it. Go to Trader Joe's. It's the best. So we have our custard ingredients with sugar, milk, our sweet potato puree, ginger, cloves, nutmeg, vanilla, cinnamon, and cornstarch for thickening, since this is a egg-free recipe. And then we also have our phyllo pastry right here, and that's actually what we're going to start with. Take a sheet. There we go. Yeah, and if it does break, it's not huge deal. So you'll take a sheet, place it on your clean counter, and you'll use some melted butter to brush on. So go ahead and do that.
This is my first test of my painting. Do I just go like that? All right.
Yep. And then so we'll take another sheet and lay it gently on top. There you go. And then you can brush butter on again. Okay. So what you're then going to do is, I'll show you this one and you can do the rest.
Sounds great.
So lengthwise, you'll scrunch it up just like so. Doesn't have to be super neat. And then once it's ruffled up a little bit, what you're going to do is spiral. So you'll start at one end, spiral around, and then you'll tuck this bottom edge underneath a little bit to give it some height. There you have a perfect little spiral. And then you'll place this into a 9-inch pan, and this has been greased and lined with parchment and then greased again with butter. So we'll continue doing that for the rest of the phyllo.
Alright, Nithya, so what really got you started on this baking journey? I never really heard your full story.
Yeah, great question, Neha. So growing up, I couldn't really eat egg due to our spirituality, and my family just never really ate egg. So that made it really hard for me to eat pastries and cakes. I would always be so jealous of my classmates when they had birthday parties. So it just ended up that we started making cakes at home. And that kind of started my journey into cake making. And I've been baking since I was a kid. Wasn't always good, but I loved getting in the kitchen and getting my hands dirty, working with my hands, sharing it with people was really satisfying to me. Actually, when I was in high school, I started this little Facebook group called Little Indulgences.
I never knew this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so you can also tuck that little tail right under the center to give it a little bit of height.
Like that?
Yeah, like that, and place it in.
This is so beautiful. It's like a rose. Is it not?
Yeah, I do think it's pretty. This is a really pretty pie.
Anyways, back to your story.
Yeah. Okay, so I started this Facebook page or group in high school called Little Indulgences, and I would basically experiment with different pastries and stuff and sell them at school. So I just post on the group, hey, bring your money, and then people would bring their money and they would eat my goods and they'd like it, and that was really exciting for me. I also used to make ice cream, and I would make any custom flavor. So I would ask people, what sort of flavor would you want? And I'd make that, and I'd make like 30 different flavors in a week, and just bring it to school. Yeah, it was crazy. But that really got me started on experimenting with flavors and that was really exciting and fun for me to do that. You know, in Ratatouille, when Remy tastes that scene with the strawberry and the cheese. If you like Google Remy strawberry and cheese, that comes up. But he sees this like visual of tastes and textures when he's eating the strawberry and the cheese, and when you put them together, you get something completely new and exciting. So yeah, I guess that's kind of how I feel about baking and cooking as well.
That's so deep.
I try. So I started doing that, and then I realized when I was in college that this was really, really what I wanted to do. So I took a semester off, actually. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I took a semester off
I remember
of school. I took a leave of absence, and I tried to start a baking business. And it was really slow, but I started getting more experience, making better cakes, and it's just been growing since then. But I think that baking and sharing food with others is such an expression of love. And making with people, this is like my dream of life, to make food with people.
Can't relate. Just kidding. It's so fun. No, I love it. It's so much fun.
So it's such an expression of love, because when you give food to people, it's not just that you're nourishing them. It's not just saying, oh, I want to give you life, but it's also in an emotional sense, because you've spent so much time and like you're so intentional when you make food, and it's like you want to share a bit of joy with someone. So there's like both a physical and an emotional aspect to sharing food.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You know, recently I've gotten into cooking a little bit more, and now that I've had to cook for my brothers with my parents being out of town, I've absolutely been hating it. So the other day I was, you know, baking something for myself because I was really craving it, and you know, again, like just it was really hard to get it in like marketplace because there was egg and everything.
Right.
And I really just realized how fun it was when I was like measuring different, you know, like spoonfuls of stuff. So it kind of in a way was therapeutic. So do you feel like that with food as well, or?
Yeah. So I think cooking is definitely like there's something very therapeutic about it. Especially, I think it slows you down. Usually, if you just buy food or, you know, just microwave some food, you eat it while watching TV, and you know it's done, right? But coming back from work, it's so tiring to cook, but at the same time, it really slows you down, and I feel like it brings so much value into your life to have a bowl of something that you've put your time and effort into. It just feels very comforting to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cooking is, you know, it's definitely something I've started enjoying a lot more, and something that I want to hone in on as well.
Yeah. So now we have buttered all our phyllo sheets, and we've swirled them into this beautiful pattern. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to butter the tops of these and then bake them in an oven that's been preheated at 350 degrees. So let's both take this and we can...
How about you show me first before I just
make a mess?
Yeah.
Okay, so just take a little bit of butter and gently butter the tops.
Caress the little...
Yeah, that's a good word. Caress them with your brush.
Give them some love.
Yeah. So phyllo tastes good when it's really nice and buttery, and it kind of tastes dry when there's not enough butter. So, heart attack in a pan. That's okay.
We can both just tackle it together. We've got two brushes, actually.
Yep.
So is phyllo what people use in baklava? The Greek dessert that,
So the Greek word for this, I don't want to mess it up, so that's why I called it milk ruffled pie, but it's something kind of like galatopita. I'm sorry. For the milk ruffled
phyllo?
No, yeah. So the milk ruffled pie, the Greek word for that is like something like galatopita.
Wait, is this a Greek dessert?
Yeah, it is. So in Greek they make it with like a milk custard, but today we're making it with a sweet potato custard. Just, you know, just in time for Thanksgiving. Really super easy, and it's an easy dessert to have your kids join in on. And you can't really mess up, especially since there's no eggs, there's no like curdling that could happen.
Oh, yeah. If I can do it, everyone else can too.
Have more confidence. I think you're a great cook. But anyway, we are ready, so we're gonna stick this in the oven, and we'll be right back.
Alright, so what's the next step of this recipe?
So while the phyllo is baking in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes until golden brown, we'll start to make our custard.
Okay.
So in our bowl we have sugar, and we're going to add some spices. So if you want to go ahead and add that.
What is this?
This is nutmeg and cloves. That's cinnamon.
All right.
That's ginger.
Ooh.
And that is cornstarch.
Nice and spicy.
Yeah.
Do I just dump it in here?
Right. And then you can go ahead and stir that all together. And if you want, you can get a little messy, stick your hands in it, make sure there aren't any lumps.
Should I get a little messy, or is this good?
Let's see. I think that's probably okay.
All right, well.
Yeah, so I like putting the...
It smells super good. I can smell all the spices mixed together.
So the reason why we put our cornstarch and spices in with the sugar is so that when we put the milk in, it doesn't get super lumpy. Next, our sugars and cornstarch together, we're going to add our milk and our vanilla.
Alright, and I'll just keep stirring it?
Sure. So I'll pour the vanilla in here first, just for fun.
Fun is good.
Let me pour this into here, gently.
I'm a little stressed. Should I just keep going?
Yeah, you're totally fine. So I'll pour about half, and then I'll scoop this puree in here, and then we'll loosen it up again with the rest of the milk.
This is going to be beautiful.
I'm scared it's gonna splash.
Alright, well, so I just mix this in here?
Yeah, and if you need the spatula, let me know.
Sounds good. But while we're doing this, I would love to hear about some of your challenges in this business. You know, I mean, right now, becoming a business owner has become such a mainstream thing. You know, everyone is doing it. So what are your challenges in this industry?
Yeah, great question. So for me specifically, since I majored in physics and then I did a bit of art, I never really learned how to market myself.
Right.
I never really learned how to network, and honestly, that's scary.
It is.
Yeah, so I don't really have much business acumen. So that's the hardest thing for me. But I think there are a lot of online resources, a lot of courses that you can get that information. So I am not so worried about that.
Right.
The other thing that worries me, and especially as a baker that uses very restricted ingredients,
For sure.
finding like a professional associations and networking with people who can provide guidance for me is hard, just because I can't really like intern at any bakery because they would have egg. I'd have to fly to like Spain or Russia to go to actual pastry or culinary school.
Right.
I mean, I think it'd be worth it, but you know, right now.
Let's be realistic, right?
Right. So it's not like just something so easy that I can do. So a lot of it is just I have to advocate for myself and try to find opportunities for myself. Actually, recently there was this really amazing talk by Danny Meyer at WashU. It was called Chef at the Table, Artist as Executive. If it's available online, I think it is, I would recommend you watch that.
I'll link it down below.
If it's available.
Yeah.
If you're an artist and you're concerned about how can you bridge the gap between business and art, how does an artist think like an executive, and how does an executive think like an artist? So finding those opportunities, networking through those things, and knowing that even if the people I'm talking to don't have the exact same values or interests as me, there's still something I can glean from that. So,
right, absolutely.
Yeah, learning to advocate for yourself, I think, is the biggest challenge.
And that's a great transition into kind of my next question. What advice do you have for young entrepreneurs or, young people who just want to start even any business, as small as it may be, What advice would you give them?
I think my advice to anyone in their 20s who's exploring either in college or just after college, post-grad, figuring out what to do is to explore. This may be like a privileged thing to say, especially since I have parents who support me. I don't have responsibilities as much as, when people who have families to support.
Right, just worry about finances as well,
Right, so
being able to do different things.
Right, so I can take a lot more risks than people, so I acknowledge that I am privileged, but at the same time, if you have that support and you have the opportunities to take risks, I would definitely go after that. I mean, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid of rejections. You know, get an F. Take a quantum mechanics class. I'm saying that because I took it for fun and then I changed my major. Just go ahead and do it right now. Take a quantum mechanics class. I mean, I took a modern dance class and I was horrible at it. But it's fun. Like, explore, fail. It's totally okay in your 20s. It's not the end of the world, and it's not going to determine whether you're successful or not just because you get a bad grade or just because you have one failed business venture.
That's really true, you know, especially, like, I definitely relate to the starting in this business and not really having someone that you can go up to as a mentor, you know, just like, I feel like college does a good job at connecting you to people, but it doesn't really teach you the networking skills that you really need or you can hone in on. I don't know if you agree with me or not, I mean, you know. But definitely, you know, the part about exploring in your 20s is something that I can relate to, something I've been trying, but something I've looked up to you, you know, for a long time because, you know, it's hard, you know, I like things to be stable, so when you're really focused on exploring and failing and doing different things, it's a little hard.
I mean, it's definitely hard, and it's scary, and it's like, I don't have a 9-to-5 job personally, but if I had a 9-to-5 job, how would I let go of that stability to try something new?
Right. So it becomes an addiction in a way.
Yeah. Because I mean, being stable and comfortable is also really, really important. So finding a way to balance those two things. So that's also a reason why I admire you, because you have like a great job, but at the same time you're pursuing your passion of like sharing motivational videos with people.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I've definitely had some great support in doing so as well. I mean, you know, thank you for coming here and teaching my viewers, you know, just showing them an experience, telling them your story, but also this, look at how nice this looks. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it.
It's so purple.
It's purple. It's beautiful. It's my favorite color in this bowl.
So what we've done here is basically whisked up all our custard ingredients.
All the spices as well, right?
Yeah. So since we used a like actual sweet potato and we cooked it, we're not just using like pumpkin puree in a can. You can totally do this with pumpkin puree or just regular sweet potato, by the way. Since we're not doing that, there are some chunks, so what we'll do after we shut off this video is go ahead and blend this with an immersion blender or in a blender, and then after the phyllo is baked, we'll pour it over the top.
And what's wrong with, you know, having some strings in your, pie? I wouldn't mind it.
Questionable, but anyway. So we have our phyllo fresh out of the oven. So what we're going to do is take our custard mixture. I poured it from a bowl into this measuring glass.
Yes.
Just so it's a little easier to pour. So what I want you to do is pour it gently over the pastry, but try to pour it in the gaps. So we don't want to cover the pastry all too much.
This is why I did not become a surgeon. This looks so beautiful.
Yeah, purple is such a nice color.
And the orange with like the purple or the gold with the purple.
Oh my god, this would have been perfect for Halloween too.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, Halloween special. I mean, we're recording it in the middle of the two holidays.
Yeah, I guess it works.
So we can call it whatever. Alright, you guys, so we just finished baking this cake, and here is a piece we got out of it. It looks really beautiful. I love the aesthetic of the powdered sugar on top. But thank you so much for actually coming in and teaching someone like me how to bake. But yeah, so should I just dive into this?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And while I'm doing this, if you want to tell the audience on where they should follow you, where they can find you.
Sure, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook, it's Gopala's Desserts, and Instagram is super easy too. Also Gopala's Desserts.
Get this.
Yeah, and Neha will link the social media down below.
Alright,
so,
well, it's time. I'm super excited. If you wanna, should I rate it like 1 out of 10?
That makes me nervous, but
wait, it's so good.
Okay, so there's like flaky pastry,
that
perfectly spiced.
Oh my god. Bro, I need more. I wasn't planning on eating.
I feel like the phyllo just stole the show. Like the custard's there, but like the Greeks did some good stuff here. Yeah.
The Greeks did the good stuff here. Oh my god, it's so good. I wish you guys could taste this, but I'll also link the recipe down below if you guys want to try it out.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't talking with food in my mouth, but Thanks again for coming.
Yeah, of course.
And
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and until next time, stay inspired. See you next Thursday. I think it's really good. Yum.